What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Too Savage for Democrats show. My name is Dylan, and I am your host. And I cut out the bumper music at the beginning because I felt like it was just kind of mainstream. I didn't really want to have that, rock kind of music playing. I'm just gonna jump right into it because that's basically what I'm gonna do anyway. But I'm just gonna push that back 3 seconds with music. So screw it. I'm just gonna go right into the hard news for you guys. We have a ton to cover today for the show. It's going to be a very interesting show. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. Again, I apologize for not uploading one yesterday. I try to do these daily as best I can, but when I have to film skits, edit, do all these kinds of videos for my main channel, sometimes I have to take a day off from these. Kind of funny because I did one. Right as I started the daily schedule, I took a day off. But sometimes I'm going to have to do that. But most days, I'm going to try to get you guys one of these. But there's going to be some days where I'm just too busy editing, filming, everything like that. But for the most part, we're going to get these two. So anyway, fantastic show for you guys today. Hope you stay tuned. You guys are really going to love this one, I think. It's going to be very eye-opening about some of the issues going on and everything like that. So let's just get right into it. And I'm going to start having a theme for each podcast episode. I'm still going to talk about news stories, stuff like that. But I want to have one underlying theme in every single episode that I bring to you guys as kind of a, so it just makes every episode unique. It's not just the same kind of repetitive news stories and everything like that. I want to have an underlying theme, something that we can talk about. And today's theme, I want to talk about having respect for your country, okay? Respect for the country that you live in. Now, I understand that not all people, that are born in America have to be patriotic. I'm not saying that you have to go out and, be the most patriotic person on the face of the planet and we have to have some competition to see who's the most patriotic. No, you don't have to be patriotic, right? That's not something you have to be. But there's a difference between being patriotic, not being patriotic, and then having respect for the country that's done so much for you. And I think that a lot of people, celebrities, basically more famous people, you see it a lot with these people who make all of their money in the United States. They grow rich and famous in the United States, and then they don't have any respect for it. They have absolutely zero respect for the country that gave them everything. They lose everything. And it's so frustrating to me to watch that. Sorry, I'm just writing the topic down so I don't forget. So I don't forget when I title the video. But they just lose all respect they have for the country. Everything. It's just, like all these people saying they're going to move to Canada if Trump wins, right? People, Rosie O'Donnell, the list goes on and on and on. And people just I'm going to move to Canada if Trump wins. Oh, I can't handle it. I'm moving to Canada. None of us are saying that. I mean, there's probably some conservatives saying they're going to move if Hillary wins. I'm not moving, okay? I'm not going to move if Hillary wins. I'm not going to allow Hillary Clinton winning the election not going my way, the way I would prefer for it to go, to force me to leave this country that I was born in that's done so much for me. I mean, you are very, very lucky to be a citizen of the United States. I am, honestly, if you think about it, if you just stop and think, you could have been born anywhere. It could have happened anywhere. You could have been born in Africa. You could have been a starving kid in Africa. And this probably sounds really cheesy, but let's just roll with me here. You could have been a starving kid in Africa. You could have been born in Somalia. I mean, all these just disgusting places, just filled with poverty, with scum, and the United States, I mean, to be poor in the United States, you're rich compared to people in Africa. You're rich compared to people in some of these third world countries, India, all these people. You're rich compared to these people if you're poor in the United States. And to realize and to think about the fact that you were born in this country out of pure luck. Everything happened in a certain way. Decisions that your parents made, your grandparents made, your great-grandparents made, your ancestors made back years, way before you were born. Decisions that they made all led to you. And decisions that you make will lead to your kids. And it's all luck. So I'm not saying that you should be, you don't necessarily have to be proud of your country. You don't have to have I'm very patriotic. I am proud of America, but you don't have to be, right? You don't have to wake up in the morning and salute the flag or have a flag hanging in every single room of your house. And you don't have to go out and, sing the national anthem every morning, but you should have respect for your country. You should have respect for the country that's done so much for you. I mean, Miley Cyrus, all these celebrities, they come out and they just talk crap on the United States. They just dog on the country like it's done nothing for them. Like this country has shot down all their hopes and dreams. These people are celebrities, made hundreds of millions of dollars in this country, and they're going to come out and talk crap on it? Why? Do you not have any respect for the country? It's kind of like with your parents, right? Your parents raise you. Your parents do a lot for you. Some parents are obviously bad parents. I'm not saying all parents are good, but there's some bad parents. Even if you don't necessarily agree with your parents on everything, you don't have to necessarily go over there and, thank them all the time. But there's a certain amount of respect you should have for your parents because they've done so much for you. It's the same kind of thing. This country has done a lot for you. You have the freedom. I have the freedom to come on this show, voice my opinion, regardless of what it is. I don't agree with our leader, with President Obama, but I can still come on here and voice my disagreement with him without being in fear of my life. I couldn't do that in China. I couldn't do that in North Korea. I couldn't do that in Russia, but I can do it here. You have the freedom to comment down below the video your opinion on the topics. You can't do that, even if you disagree with me. You can't do that in other countries. Some other countries you can, but this country you can, and you will always have that right. Nobody is taking that right away from you. Doesn't matter if Hillary Clinton wins. Doesn't matter if Donald Trump wins. Doesn't matter if whoever else wins, Gary Johnson, Jill Stein, whatever. Doesn't matter who wins. You will still have the right to voice your opinion and speak out against our government, which is huge. And just, we care about our citizens. We do more for our citizens than everybody else. Now, people argue we do too much. The welfare state, I would agree, way too big. But we still do a lot for our citizens. We offer opportunities. Even if you limit government and get rid of the welfare state, you're still doing a lot for people with low incomes and the poor people in this country. Because you're lowering taxes, businesses are making more profit, they're able to hire more people. It's called trickle-down economics, creating more jobs. The country is still doing a lot for poor people, even if they limit government, get rid of all welfare programs. No, I'm not necessarily saying we should get rid of all welfare programs. That's for a different episode. But have some respect for the country. Now, the reason that I wanted to make this a topic of today's video is because I was watching the Rio Olympics, right? Everyone's been watching the Rio Olympics basically all over everything right now. Usain Bolt had just finished his events, and he was doing an interview. Now, I'm sure everybody's seen this video, right? This video is circulating around the internet for a long time. Everybody's seen it. Basically, what happened is, just in case you haven't, is the lady was interviewing him, and the national anthem came on. Now, he's not even from the United States, right? He's not from the U.S. But the national anthem comes on. He stops everything in the interview. He says, "Stop, national anthem." He turns, looks at the flag, and has respect for this country. Now, typically, that wouldn't be a big deal. Most of the time, that wouldn't be a big deal. But the fact that there are citizens in our country, in the United States, that are participating in the Olympics. But there's people in the United States as well that don't have that much respect. Usain Bolt just showed more respect for the United States than some of the people who live in the United States who have garnered all of their wealth from the United States. He just showed more respect than them. And that's when I saw that was just that he is a class act. It doesn't matter, he's cocky out there on the track. I would be too if I was the fastest man alive. He's maybe a little bit too cocky, but whatever, it doesn't matter. He's the fastest man alive. He can be cocky. But that was a class act. That was a brilliant thing that he did in displaying respect for this country. And you know what? What are people now going to look at him and see? They're going to see a respectful man, a class act, someone who respects other people. And that is just... it's just huge. It's honestly huge. I got goosebumps watching that video when he did that. Because you heard the national anthem turn on, and honestly, I heard the national anthem in the background, and I was like, oh, look, they're playing the national anthem. But when he turned around and showed more respect for the country than half of our freaking citizens, I mean, we got people rioting, throwing rocks at police officers, at other citizens of the United States. Our country is spiraling downward right now, ladies and gentlemen. It is spiraling downward at such a rate that it's hard to even keep track of what's going on. It's just patriotism gone. Respect for America leaving quickly, if not already gone. There's still people, obviously, who have it, but that's leaving. Trust between our law enforcement and our, the African-American communities, disintegrating. And it just, there is a solution to this out there. There's a solution to everything out there, but the problem is nobody is willing to put in the time, the resources, the effort to solve these problems. It's almost like they want these problems. It's almost like the Black Lives Matter movement. It's almost like these thugs, these people, they want America to be bad. It's like they want something to complain about. They come out, they talk about how bad America is, but they're not offering any solutions. My big thing is, if you're going to be critical, if you want to criticize something, if I say something, if I offer a plan or a solution to a problem in one of my podcasts, if I offer a solution and you don't agree with my solution, you shouldn't just disagree. Don't say you're wrong, Dylan, you're an idiot. Come up with a better solution. Offer a better alternative to my solution. Then we can have a discussion and come to some sort of middle ground, right? But if you just come on saying, Dylan, you're an idiot, that's just going to get me irritated, and then I'm going to start arguing with you, and then we're not going to get anything done. And that's what I think you're seeing in this country, is I think you're seeing people who don't want to compromise. They don't actually want to solve anything. They just don't like the way things are being done. They're like, oh, look, this is stupid. I don't like the way things are being done right now. So I'm just going to go complain about it. Not really offer any solution. I'm just going to complain about it. I mean, do you guys kind of see where I'm coming from with the whole hypocritical thing here? If you really want to fix... First of all, if you want to fix the African-American culture in this country, you need to fix the values that they have. You need to fix the values. That's what it all comes down to. Values. And respect in some regard. Respect for authority. I'm not saying you have to bow down to authority, but respect for authority. You shouldn't pull out a gun and refuse to listen to a police officer and then expect to live. You know what I mean? But that's just, and I'm going to get back into respect later in the show, but this is just something that I wanted to be the underlying theme of today's show, because I felt that it is important that we have some respect, but there is a lot of news that we need to get to, so let's jump right into that. All right, so you guys familiar with Paul Nelson? He was the former primary opponent against Paul Ryan just recently. Well, apparently he's not done with politics completely, and he's actually doing something that's helping Donald Trump. In fact, he's doing more to help Donald Trump than Paul Ryan is doing, which is pretty funny if you think about it. So basically what he's doing, he's a former businessman and former, congressional candidate from Wisconsin. But what he's doing, he's forming his own political action committee. It's called Citizens Revolt PAC. And the purpose of it is putting any elected official who would try to stop Donald Trump from winning the presidency, quote, on notice. So he spoke with the Daily Caller, Nelson, about this. And he said, this is... Quote, by the way, this is, I believe, the first pro-America PAC that focuses on promoting America First policies. This PAC will work to help primary candidates that are running righteous campaigns against corrupt politicians and general election candidates who are running on pro-America platforms. So basically, he wants to help the people who are trying to run for office against candidates, political candidates that are corrupt, that make the system broken, that don't contribute to helping the people of America. He basically wants to put the people of America first, and so he's setting up this super PAC to help people like that. Personally, I think this is awesome. They're planning to announce which candidates Citizens Revolt PAC will be supporting soon. The new PAC, is a quote, the new PAC is devoted to reining out of control immigration, promoting good and smart trade deals that prioritize the needs of American workers, and ending corporate special interest control in Washington. Another quote, we need an immigration policy that works for America first. So if we've got visa programs that are metastasizing out of control, like the H-1B or H-2B visa programs, or like the L-1 or L-2 visa programs, or those K visa programs, any of these visa programs that are blah, blah, blah. Basically, to be completely honest with you, he's probably going to be supporting Trump with this. I mean, if we're going to be completely honest. Now, this is funny. This is awkward for Paul Ryan, I'd imagine. Now, Paul Ryan's come out and endorsed Trump, right? But he still seems to have some okay. It seems that Paul Ryan has just this underlying dislike of Donald Trump that runs so deep in his blood, and it seems like he's willing to throw the election to Hillary Clinton to just because he hates Trump. Now, a lot of people, because Paul Ryan's smart, he doesn't go out and show it. Paul Ryan expresses himself. He tries to make it seem like his way is the most logical way. And he does this all the time. I'll come out, well, look, we need to focus on blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And he just, I'm not going to actually quote him, right? But you know what I'm talking about. He comes out and he offers just this pretentious thing where I'm smart. I've come up with this plan. This is what everybody should be doing. Why are we focusing on Donald Trump? Let's focus on my plans. That's what he does, okay? Now, he lays it out like that in this pretentious way, in this way that, makes him seem he's making a logical decision, even though he isn't. His decision to continue to attack Donald Trump, and a lot of it, I will say, I don't know about half, but there's a large portion of it that comes from the media. Every time Trump says something that's spun out of proportion by the media, they have to ask Paul Ryan about it. There's Paul Ryan, how do you feel about this? Do you want to still endorse Trump? Obviously, he has to give a rebuttal. And I think he's a little bit afraid to be as not politically correct as Trump is. But it seems like almost that he tries to hurt him some way. He has this underlying dislike for him. And I don't know where it comes. Maybe, you know what I think it is, ladies and gentlemen? I think it has to do with Mitt Romney. I think he still has this connection with Mitt Romney from the VP race. And so he, meaning Paul Ryan, doesn't like that Trump called out Romney, even though Romney called out Trump first. See, the thing is, Trump doesn't have a problem with anybody. Trump does not have a problem with anybody. It's the people that attack Donald Trump first that he responds. Try to find an example of anybody in Washington that Donald Trump has gone after first. There are some examples, but it's very, very rare. And it's not like he goes after them very hard. And he does go after Democrats. Well, that's because he's running as a Republican. You have to. But he does. I mean, if you think about it, he didn't go after Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz went after him. Ben Carson went after him. Paul Ryan went after him. John McCain went after him. Mitt Romney went after him. All these people went after him first. They tried to attack him. Now, it's different when you're talking about the people you're competing against in the race. Ted Cruz, Ben Carson, Marco Rubio, all these people. That's different because you actually have to compete against these people. You have to win against these people. But when we're talking about people like John McCain, Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan, all these people, they attacked Donald Trump first. He didn't go out and go out of his way. He was already being attacked and attacking 16 people in the race, right? There were 16 other Republicans in the race. He was trying to, he didn't even want to get involved with other people who weren't even running, but these people are attacking him like it's like there's no tomorrow. They're just like, oh, well, let's just attack Trump because they wanted to hop on that bandwagon. And so he started attacking him. None of this comes from him starting it with these people. And I think that's why Trump gets such a bad rap, is that he just responds very viciously. He gets attacked and it might be something small, but he responds kind of over the top. The person's stupid. Like, I think I'm pretty sure that, and the way he responds is right. I'm not saying the way he responds doesn't work. It works 100%. Like, he's doing really well because of his aggressive. He would not be doing as well in politics right now. It's very hard for a businessman who doesn't have any political experience to do well in politics in this country. I think we could all agree that's very hard. Donald Trump's doing a great job. The reason he's doing such a good job is because he's so good at attacking. He's so good at promoting himself. But again, it's always these politicians that attack him first, then he gets the heat for it. It's like, what are you doing? Why would you give Donald Trump the heat? But anyway, so this primary opponent of Paul Ryan's, let's get back to what we were talking about originally. I got way off topic. He's starting this super PAC, and I mean, he talks about America first. He's talking about the same issues Donald Trump's talking about. Let's just be completely honest with each other here, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm going to give you the straight answer like I always do here on the Two Savage Democrats show. He's going to support Donald Trump. Some of this is going to go to help Donald Trump. And I think this is awesome. Politics in this country has just become so corrupt. And this goes back to respect for our country. Not really, but I'm going to tie it in anyway because that's a topic. These politicians don't have any respect for our country. They don't have respect for the people of this country who elected them. Right? That you can see it. I don't have to sit here and explain it. You get it. The people who elected them, the politicians make promises. The politicians get elected based on those promises. They get into office, they don't follow through with any of those promises. Now, they have no respect for the people who elected them. Then they expect to get elected again. I really wish that there were more people in this country who were just awake, who were awake to the realities of the political process. And so some of these just degenerates that are in office could just get kicked out. some of these people who don't do what's best for the people, some of these people who have these jobs so that they don't have to actually work. They work in Washington. I wish that the American people would wake up and see what's going on with some of this corruption and see that, because people don't pay attention to what happens. I mean, how hard is it? A senator promises something. He gets to Washington, doesn't do it. He just says that somebody else stopped him. They blame everybody else. That's the whole Senate thing. That's the spiel they all give when they can't get their promise to go, well, I was stopped by Obama. I was stopped by Obama. All that. It's Obama. Well, obviously you didn't have a good enough plan. And obviously you weren't willing to compromise. Compromise is a big portion of everything. It's hard to get stuff done without compromise. And I think that's really important. Now, the problem that we have in Washington, and the reason we're not getting anything done, the Constitution was a compromise. Right? There were people in there that didn't agree with each other. They came to a compromise on the Constitution, and look how well it turned out. Just because you don't agree with someone does not mean that you can't ever work together with them. That doesn't mean that at all. And I love how I just get completely off topic, but this is more of a discussion-based show. I want to just kind of have like a discussion with you guys, so it feels like we're kind of talking. I don't want this to be, now we are going to discuss for 5.3 minutes the issue of Donald Trump's speech. No, we're going to have a discussion. I'm going to switch topics if I want, keep it entertaining, keep it flowing. But I don't even know what I was talking about now. I totally lost my train of thought. Compromise. We have none of it. It seems like these politicians go to Washington and they refuse to work together. They just outright refuse. And this is a problem with both sides. You've got these hyper conservatives who I happen to agree with on a lot of issues, but they refuse to work with Democrats. And then at the same time, the Democrats refuse to work with Republicans. And then they both offer these radical things that are completely unrealistic. And, let's talk about flat tax, right? You can come out and you can propose flat tax. Saying you're going to have a flat tax by the end of your term, 100% unrealistic. That's not going to happen. Now, you can agree with a flat tax. I happen to have think a flat tax would be fine, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in 8 years. You have to simplify the tax code over time and make your way to a flat tax. That's why I like Donald Trump's tax plan, because he's simplifying the tax code. He's cutting the number of brackets. He's simplifying it, making it so, people who make under $25,000 a year or under $50,000 for married couples, they're getting 0% income tax. It's just a great plan altogether. And he's simplifying the tax code. So we're already doing better than we were before with Donald Trump because we're just simplifying it. But these people refuse to come to any sort of compromise, and that's why this country's spiraling down. The reason this system is set up the way it is so that there is supposed to be, not one person supposed to be in power and be able to make all these decisions based on what they want. It's supposed to be a debate system. We're supposed to debate and come to compromises and come up with solutions. That's what's supposed to happen. And I know George Washington was against political parties. I'm not just talking about political parties. I'm talking about people who have disagreements, which happens in any profession, right? People always have disagreements. I mean, they act like, and then we're expected to solve our disagreements in real life, but politicians don't have to. I love how these people talk down to us like they can't even compromise, right? It's ridiculous. Now, there's some things you shouldn't compromise on. Gun control, for example, because it's written in the Constitution, shall not be infringed. The rights of the American citizens to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, that's something you shouldn't compromise on. Shouldn't compromise on freedom of speech. Shouldn't compromise on freedom of expression. But when it comes to things like healthcare, when it comes to things like taxes, when it comes to things, you should compromise on it, regardless of your stance. I could bring a communist and I could bring an anarchist on this show. I might actually do that for one show. I might bring two people of opposing viewpoints on here. Obviously, it won't be for a couple shows, but maybe. I don't know. Well, we'll see. I just thought of this in my head. I don't know if I'm actually going to do it. We'll bring two people of opposing viewpoints on here. Let's just have them debate. Let's have them. They have to figure out a way to run the government. They have to conclusively come up with a government that they both agree with, that works for both of them. Now, obviously, the anarchist is going to say, I don't want any government. The communist is going to say, I want big government that takes care of everybody. So you have to, and the challenge for these two people is going to be to come together and try to come up with a solution for how to solve that, how to make that government that will work for both of them. And see, that's what we should be doing in Washington. Is these people need to be sitting down. These people who disagree on everything, Ted Cruz, Harry Reid, right? Those types of disagreements. These people need to sit down. They need to sit down and come to a compromise. It irritates me to no end when I hear people, other hosts of other shows, much bigger than mine, but regardless, talk about how we shouldn't compromise. Now, obviously, like I said, there's values you don't compromise on. Gun control, freedom of expression, freedom, blah, blah, blah. You don't compromise on that, right? Those are things that, because they're written in the Constitution clearly. There should be no compromise. The Constitution is not a document that you compromise. If the Constitution is written, you keep that the way it is, unless you amend it somehow, which I guess involves a compromise. But you see what I'm going with. You don't compromise on the basic freedoms that we have as individuals. But you compromise on other. And it pisses me off when you hear these people come out and say that we should compromise on everything, guys. Let's just compromise. Let's just not compromise. You can't compromise. Compromise is evil. If you compromise, we're going to vote you out. Why? Why would you vote someone out for doing what's best for you? People can walk up in Washington and act like they have all these. It doesn't matter if you elect the most conservative person to Washington. If they're not going to get anything done, what's the point? If they're not going to pass anything, what's the point? They're not actually helping. You may be conservative in your little head. Look, I'm a conservative. I believe in this and this and this. I'm not actually going to do anything, but I believe in it, so that counts. No. You need to get stuff done. You need to go in there. You need to do stuff. Show the American people that you are willing to not only believe in conservative principles, not only follow conservative principles, but enact laws based on conservative principles. Show that you're willing to put in the work. And if you're not, don't expect to keep your job. But you don't understand how hard it is when there's a Democrat president. I don't care. Okay, figure it out. Figure it out. If you're not going to figure out how to make your promises happen after we elected you, you shouldn't have run in the first place. And that just irritates me to no end, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can tell, that just it is so frustrating to me. And a lot of people disagree with me on this. A lot of people say that, well, it's better to have and I agree, right? It's better to have a conservative in there that doesn't get anything done than a liberal who doesn't get anything done. I'd rather have the conservative because then given the chance to get something done, the liberal's obviously going to hurt the country. But there should be some compromise. And I think that's what we're missing. I really think that's what we're missing. And in a lot of different aspects. This doesn't just come from, just in politics. Look at African Americans and police. No compromising at all. It's just rocks. It goes to rocks and pepper spray like that. There's just no compromise at all. There's no time where let's try to solve this problem. Let's try to figure out what's going on with this problem. It's just immediately rocks and pepper spray. Immediately. It goes 0 to 100. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's where I'm going to end the show for you guys today. Again, I'm not trying to make this show as a total, this is news story number 1. This is news story number 2. I'm just here to talk to you guys, ladies and gentlemen. I want to have a conversation. I want to open up conversations because I want to make you guys think. Think about where you stand on positions. Think about maybe what you would have thought about something else before. Maybe if you disagreed with me on something, I can maybe offer my opinion on it, or I can maybe show you a side of something that you didn't see, and then you can give me your side down in the comments, and maybe I can think. It's just I want this to be more of a discussion-based show, rather than my dog. But rather than my dog's barking, I don't know if you can hear him. Rather than just going through 44.5% of blah, blah, blah is blah, blah, blah. I mean, obviously I'll rack off statistics if I have to, but this is just going to be a show trying to start discussion, trying to get younger people, because that's who I'm trying to target with this. Younger people is in 35 and under. I mean, even older. It doesn't matter if an older person listens. I'm not saying they're not allowed. I'm just saying I want to get the younger people, the younger generation, excited about politics. I want to get them involved in the system. I want to make sure that, because it's really important that these younger people, because a lot of the younger people vote Democrat. And we need to change that. So anyway, that's it for the show today, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more. I will catch up with you guys later. Thank you for listening to the Too Savage for Democrats show. See you tomorrow.